Hello and welcome to the Noxorcast Getting Started video for macOS. There are several options to run Noxorcast. For modern computers, you can use the Nox app provided with the game. You can use an Apple II emulator that you already have, or you can also play Noxorcast on real Apple II hardware. In this video, we're going to show how to play Noxorcast using the Nox app. The first step depends on whether you received Noxorcast on a USB drive or whether you downloaded the game. If you receive Noxorcast on the USB drive, the first step is to open up the drive and then drag the macOS folder onto your desktop. And that usually just takes a few seconds for that to complete. Okay, so there we have the Noxorcast folder on our desktop. Now if we had downloaded Noxorcast rather than having it on a USB drive, we would have a DMG file in the downloads folder. And what we want to do from there is drag that DMG onto the desktop. And in this case, we want to create a folder called Noxorcast. And then open up the DMG file. And also open up the Noxorcast folder that we just created. And then what we want to do from here is to copy the Noxorcast app file, this red one here, separately from all the others. And then copy this HDV file separately from the others into the Noxorcast folder we created on the desktop. And then everything else can be copied at the same time. It's very important to copy the Noxorcast application file, this red one right here, and the Noxorcast HDV file that I have the mouse cursor pointed to there. It's very important to copy those files separately as shown before, or otherwise macOS might quarantine the files, which causes problems with the operation of the game. Then to start the game, double-click on the Noxorcast file in the Noxorcast folder that we created on the desktop. And this is a typical error message if you've downloaded Noxorcast rather than are running it off of a copied over from a USB drive. And what you want to do is just click OK, and then right-click on the application file and select Open. And this error message is also expected. And go ahead and click Open. And we actually have to repeat that process a couple of times for macOS to trust the file. So right-click again on Noxorcast, select Open, and this time it opens. It took 2 times for us here, but just keep trying. It might take 3 times, 4 times. Shouldn't take much more than that though. If everything works, this is what you should see, the Noxorcast splash screen. And you can hit any key to skip the rest of the splash screen music and go to the main menu. So, please note that it's important that there's only one Noxorcast HDV file inside the Noxorcast folder at any one time. This is because if there's multiple HDV files when you launch the Noxorcast application, it won't know which HDV file you're trying to launch, and it will on its own pick one. And that could result in unexpected effects such as your characters, when loaded, not being in the state that you left them in when you last saved the game. However, it is a good idea to make backups of the HDV file, and the best way to do this is to create a backup folder, a backup subfolder within the Noxorcast folder. And then you can copy your HDV file and paste it into the backup folder like this. In-game, there are 2 save slots. When you press Q to save the game, you'll be asked if you want to save to slot 1 or slot 2. But by making backups of the HDV file, that gives you more save points that you can load back to if you want. It's perfectly fine to do that and recommended to do that as long as you put them in, the HDV files that you back up in their own separate folder. It is just fine to do that. Also, as mentioned, you can also play Nox or Cast and other popular emulators such as Micromate, AppleWin, and Virtual2. To do this, you'll need to use the HDV file that in the Nox or Cast folder on your desktop, the file that I'm highlighting right now. That HDV file contains the Nox or Cast game itself, and you'll need to use that in conjunction with the other emulator in order to boot Nox or Cast. We have walkthrough videos for many popular emulators in the support section of our website, noxorcast.com. To play Nox or Cast on real hardware, you'll need to load the Nox or Cast HDV file onto a hard drive card that supports HDV images. That is usually done by copying the HDV image to a USB drive or an SD card that you insert into the hard drive card on your Apple II. Refer to the manual for your Apple II hard drive card for further instructions on how to do that. And additionally, we recommend taking a look at the support section of our website, which has a list of hard drive cards that we've specifically tested Nox or Cast with. If your card isn't on this list, it might work with Nox or Cast, but it also might not. If the card's on the list, it means that we have actually done successful tests with Nox or Cast on that particular card. And while the card name is on the left, also take note of the Apple II platform names in these columns. And if the column has an X, that means that we tested that particular card on that particular platform, such as here, the X in the Apple IIe column for CFFA 3000. If there is not an X in the column next to the card, that usually means that the card itself does not support that platform. Before you jump into gameplay, we recommend taking a look at least a few pages in the manual. Hopefully you'll enjoy reading the whole thing, but if you're more inclined to jump right into the game, we can show you what the most useful sections of the manual will be for you to get started. So if you go back to the Nox or Cast folder on your desktop, there's a gameplay materials folder with all sorts of goodies in there, including a map of the game, this JPEG file, and also a manual folder. If we open that up, there's several documents in here, including a quick reference card, both in booklet form if you wanted to print it out, and then in a standard PDF form as well. The main manual here is this PDF file. There's an EPUB version as well if you'd like that, but the main version is just this file here, noxorcastmanual.pdf. If we double click on that, you can see in the table of contents it covers a wide variety of topics. And what we recommend is at least to read pages 7 through 13, as that has an introduction to the game's story, and also to take a look at the quick section, the quick start section on pages 19 through 21. You may also find it helpful to check out the tutorial videos in the support section of our website. At noxorcast.com, click support, and there's a link here to tutorial videos. And as you scroll down, there's a whole bunch of them, starting out where the game starts, character creation, and the beginning part of the game. And it goes on to cover really the main core game mechanics that you'll be using throughout while playing Nox or Cast. Lastly, we invite you to join the Nox or Cast Discord server. This is a great place to share tips and tricks you discover and ask questions to the Nox or Cast development team and other players. To join the server, visit discord.noxorcast.com in your web browser. That's it. We hope you enjoy playing Nox or Cast.